All right, guys, we are live. Two Flippin' Dudes live tonight. We're looking forward to tonight's show. I'm Jason, if you're new to me, and I'm with Chris, my co-host. Chris, how's it going?
What's up, Jason? Good to see you. I'm doing well.
Yeah, me too. How's your day been?
And it's been a good day. Wednesday for me is a thrifting day. It's half off day at Salvation Armies locally. There's two that are close to the house. I made it to one. Had a pretty good little day over there.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
You know, I didn't source today. It was actually a really low-key day. It's been a low-key week. I shipped out probably 6 to 7 items. So bread and butter items, nothing crazy to report home about. But let me just say, the one thing that's been on it's gotten a lot of attention from me and a lot of resellers, I'm sure, watching, are these shipping delays. They're crazy, right?
Absolutely. I had a feeling that you would bring that up, or maybe that one of our viewers would comment on that. I'm sure we'll get some of those, but shipping is certainly the conversation of the day for us resellers.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about shipping delays. We're going to talk about eBay's response to those for sellers. And we're also going to just talk about a few things that you can be doing and be mindful of as you're responding to possibly frustrated buyers and just things to know. So stay tuned for that. We'll get into shipping delays, which is on everyone's mind right now, coming into the Christmas season and just a wild, unprecedented time. But let's go ahead and get started for tonight's show, which is Two Flippin' Dudes. Chris, tell us about it.
First, I want to welcome everyone to Two Flippin' Dudes. This is the second edition of a weekly show. This is for resellers. It's for aspiring resellers. And this is for the reselling curious, too. Every Thursday, and this week and next week, it'll be Wednesday instead because of the holidays. Jason and I get together, two full-time resellers. We're just catching up on what's been happening in our respective businesses over the course of the last 7 days. We always spend some time answering live viewer questions, so we want to hear from you. And at the end, we're going to play a game because we're both competitive. So we got a flipping game to play. Jason versus Chris. One person wins. I'm going to be defending my title from last week. I won the first edition of the game. I'm excited about this one, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you are. Well, that's this show. Two Flippin' Dudes, that's who we are. And we're honestly here just to help you as best we can and share some of our sales, some items we're finding, and just help fellow resellers in their journey, whether you're already going or whether you're just thinking about dipping your feet in the water and getting started. So thanks for tuning in with us tonight. Let me go ahead and say we're going to be taking some questions later on. So if you have reseller questions that you would like to ask us tonight, we'll get a few of those from viewers watching, and we'll have a time to just really answer what's on your mind. So go ahead and leave comments in the chat of this video so that we can answer some of your questions. You may have questions about how to take photos or how to find items or what brands to look for, just different things like that. Please don't be shy. If you have a question, please reach out and it may get answered on tonight's show. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at some of the people we have in the live tonight. Looks like we've got Colts Comics back with us.
Yes.
We've got Daryl Goldie. Welcome to the live tonight, Daryl. Thanks for joining us. Juan is back from last week. BM, I'm not sure who BM is, but welcome to tonight's show. So we've got some action happening in the chat already. So let's go ahead and do this. Now that we've gotten started, let's go ahead and talk about some items that we found recently that this week. So Chris, show us a couple of items that you have that you're really excited about, that you found thrifting, and show the viewers.
The good news is I'm super prepared for that question because my office tends to go between like really organized and then like a bomb went off, and I'm sort of in when a bomb went off sort of mode right now. So I got a bunch of cool items like all around here that I can show you. I guess first one I'll show you. I was excited to find one of these. I'm sure you probably found these before. Is this messenger bag from a brand called Timbuktu. You can see
I know
brand right there, Timbuk with the number 2, and I usually notice it because of that logo there.
It's a good find, good brand.
Yeah, so these are messenger bags. They come in all sorts of different colors and sizes. They're usually, like laptop messenger bag, different organizational pockets. So easy one to spot, oftentimes in loud colors too. Love finding these. I paid think the price tag's right on there. $5 for this bad boy. I'm gonna list it for probably, I don't know, I might list it for like 26 plus shipping and kind of see what happens. A lot of comps in the $20 to $25 range. A lot of sales too. So these things move pretty good.
Yeah, that is a great find. Timbuktu, that's a legit brand.
You got any Timbuktu in your inventory right now?
I actually sold one. I've got one left, but I sold one and it's delayed right now. But yeah, one in my store. It's a great brand, good find, sells for well.
Do they make clothing too? I feel like I might have seen something.
If they do, it's news to me. I've never seen their clothing before.
Maybe I'm just making that up. Probably. Let me find something else for you. So we got a little mug life. I know everybody loves a little mug life. So here we go. Little vintage piece, Waffle House coffee.
Wow, check out that mug.
Yeah, this is one of those like super solid ones that are like legit, like used in Waffle House. Probably 725 people per week drink coffee out of this mug for probably 3 years, and now it's like still in ridiculously good condition. I think I paid $1, or they're usually like $1, maybe $1.98. I think at the Salvation Army for this thing, and I'm seeing comps. I'm thinking I'll probably get somewhere between like 14, maybe $18 for it. So, and they're selling like pretty good, but I think it's because it's like one of these like rock solid mugs, right? That like indestructible.
Yeah, and that graphic on the side, the old Waffle House logo, that's a good find.
Yeah, pretty rad.
Yeah.
What do you got? You got anything to show to me? What do you got?
Yeah, I got some items over here. Funny story about this one. I pulled this aside to show it. This brand, I don't know if you can see it right there. Brand is Scotty Vest. This is a new item for me. I've never found this, never heard of it. Just saw the logo and thought it looked cool, so I looked it up. And these things go for like $60 to $70. And the crazy thing is, right before we started this live, I sold it for $73 with shipping. So
no way. That's sick.
This was going to be an item that I was going to tell you about that I just listed and just sold. So that was a great find. I think it's more of like, and I paid $8 for it. I think it's more of like a ski vest. It had like pockets all on the inside. It had like the recon, like the, I forget what it is, but like the tracking if you're caught in an avalanche or something.
Was it just the logo that tipped you off on that one? I mean, I've never heard of that brand. I've been a skier since before.
Yeah, honestly,
I rode a bike. I've never even heard of it.
I hadn't either, and it looked like quality, but when I looked it up, I was just shocked that a used vest would go for like $73, $75. So I had that listed, got a best offer and took it definitely. So $73 all in on that with shipping. And then the second brand, I talked about this before on videos, but Simms Fishing. You know Simms?
All day.
Do you have any Simms in your store?
Do I have Simms right now? That's a good question. I'd have to take a spin through my inventory. It's something I don't find it all that much, but I'm always on the lookout for it for sure. I always look for that little, does that one have the little fish logo? Yeah.
Yeah, right there. So Simms, for those who may be new to this, Simms is a fishing brand. And honestly, Chris, when I looked at this in the store, I saw like the pearl snaps right there. I don't know if you can see it right there. Mm-hmm. I never found a Simms that has the pearl snaps, which this gets like $5 more than a typical like Simms fishing shirt. So there were probably 5 or 6 sold comps around that $40 range for a used shirt. So I was kind of floored on that. I was thinking I'd get 30, but I guess with the pearl snaps, yeah, great find.
Yeah, that's sick. I mean, I found a fair amount of Simms and never found pearl snaps. And I just confirmed I have no Simms in my inventory right now, but kind of no surprise there because it usually sells pretty quick for me.
Yeah, same as me as well. Last one I had, I think I sold it within a week. So it's a quick, fast mover. Do you have any other items you want to show, or is that it for tonight?
Yeah, I thought this one was kind of neat. This isn't going to be big money, but I think something that's worth looking out for. It's a hat. Right? Don't sleep on hats. Colts Comics is in the house. He would never sleep on hats. This is LaRue Tactical. I've never heard of it. And it's LaRue.com on the back. And I'm guessing this is a tech, made in USA, Texas brand because it says dead center of Texas, USA is where they're from. So I don't know this brand, but I know, I'm always looking out for tactical clothing. Like 511 Tactical is a really common one. But anytime I see gun brands or anything that says tactical, I look it up. I look this thing up. I'll probably get somewhere between like $12 and $16 plus shipping for this. So not a big money item. I paid $2 for it at the thrift today, actually. But yeah, kind of cool. Always look out for those tactical brands. Have you heard of this LaRue before?
I haven't. I have not heard of LaRue Tactical. I've heard of 511 and Proper, but that one's a new one for me.
I got one other thing if you want to see it.
Yeah, let's see it.
I think you're going to know what this is as soon as I show it to you. Well, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Boom.
Levi's with a big E.
Big E Levi's. That's a big thing. Like when you're talking about like jeans, like anything denim, if it has that big E, that means it's vintage and people look out for that big E. Most Levi's has a lowercase e. I wish I had a Levi's right around. I probably don't have any in my inventory because I typically don't pick up Levi's unless it's vintage or big E or something pretty unique. Pearl snap denim sometimes, right? But this is I realized too that this is a Sutter Creek if you look carefully. Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of listings for Levi's Sutter Creek. But it's a really, I don't know if you can see the pattern on that, kind of a cool, unique pattern. Yeah. I'm expecting, I mean, not killer money, like $25 to $30 plus shipping. Probably a pretty quick sale just because there's not many of them listed and people look out for this thing. So it's kind of excited to find a Big E Levi's. This is the second Big E Levi's shirt I've found. I've never found any of the denim though.
So is that something I've actually never found or sold a Big E? Is that something you list Big E in the title?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll call it Levi's Sutter Home and then I'll put Big E in quotes. And then, I'll describe the rest of the shirt, like the color and the pattern and it's flannel, and I'll put Western in there because that's a big keyword. But yeah, I think people tend to look out for that Big E. I actually have never sold a Big E, but I have 2 in my store right now. Actually, I haven't listed that one yet, did I? I might have listed it yesterday. I don't remember. I did list it yesterday. Yeah. So I have 2 officially in my store.
Yeah, I'll have to be on the lookout more for that because I think Levi's is a brand that I tend to overlook quite a bit, and I forget to look for that Big E. So that's kind of a good reminder for me as well to take my time on Levi's and just take a look at the tag.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you pick up Levi's denim shirts? Like Pearl Snap denim?
I don't pick up Levi's that much. Okay. I'll pick up denim in certain brands, but I just haven't had the best of luck with Levi's, unless it's just like a jean jacket. That's kind of the only thing I can think of right now that I pick up.
I'm with you on that. I always pass on Levi's unless it's Big E, or I've never found a denim jacket, but I would be game if I found one.
Heck yeah. Well, I'll show you guys. I'll show you another brand that is another new brand for me. So that Scotty Vest was the first one. See if you can see that right there. Dunning. Dunning is a brand it's a golf brand, and I've seen it quite a bit in polos, but I haven't really found the pants. These are golf pants, so like a polyester. I looked up comps on those and thinking they would be in the 20s. There were actually several in the mid 30s. So I scored those pants for like $5. And, we were talking last week about looking at the pants section, and that was a great pants find. So Dunning, Dunning. Have you ever heard of Dunning?
I've never seen the brand. I've never heard the brand. Like I don't know if I've even picked up on it in a thrift store. Like if I've seen it, I'm not even familiar with it. Like some brands I'm familiar. I'm like, oh, that's a bad brand, or it's a brand at all. I've never even heard of Dunning. Yeah, so it's interesting.
Honestly, I think the golf polo shirts I leave behind. I've looked them up before in the past. I don't think there's resale value. I mean, you could get low 20s for them, but the pants, I guess, are where they're at. So if you can find those pants, kind of similar to like an Under Armour golf pant. It's another very common brand that I think people look into as well.
Well, that's mad at me, by the way, Jason. I still haven't like looked at a single pair of pants, even though that's the thrift store. Like I've probably been in three or four thrifts since we last spoke, and I still didn't get the same.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I think I lost you for a second, but I think I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know. Oh, pants. I've been sleeping on pants. I haven't
Yeah,
looked at a single pair, even though you were harping on it last week, and I said, you know what, I'm going to start looking at pants again. I still haven't.
that's all right. You'll get to it, and I think pants are harder to find the home runs or the ones worth picking up, but definitely worth checking out. And obviously, you're going to pay a little more than you would for a shirt, but yeah, I can find. I had another pair of jeans, but I'll save those for another time. But yeah, let's move on to the next segment. Let's talk about shipping delays, because honestly, and I will say, at the front end of this, we could talk about this for the rest of the show. We could talk about interactions we've had, but I want to kind of keep this brief as we talk about what eBay's, how they're responding, and also I'll throw it to you here in a second on kind of some things that you're doing to respond to buyers. I'm going to go ahead and show my screen real quick and show you all. See if you can see that. Can you all see that? Can you see that, Chris?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm glad that you brought this up, because this is I don't think a lot of people are aware of this message that eBay put out on the 8th of December, but it's pretty big for sellers. I think this is one time where eBay is actually stepping in, and they're trying to protect their sellers. So there's a lot of people who like to complain about how eBay doesn't have the sellers back. In this case, I think they stepped up in an appropriate way to look out for us with this thing that we can't control. We can't control the shipped items once they get picked up by USPS. So this is great.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. Like, you're always going to find those people who complain, but this was huge, and this is eBay's response. And so for those of you that may be watching, whether you're live or watching on the recorded, in the chat, I've got a link that you can click on if you want to read this. I'm not going to go too in depth on this, but just kind of touch on some of the high points that may be of value to you. But this is basically for those sellers who shipped packages between November 15th and December 31st. And I'll kind of touch on some of the things that would really matter for a seller, which is this little first blurb here. For those items where maybe a buyer opens a case, they haven't received the item, case gets opened, and possibly, or could be both, negative or neutral feedback is left because a package is late. So strictly for those reasons, eBay is saying they will have the sellers back. And so, for our metrics, receiving defects for the cases or having bad feedback, eBay is saying if you do these two things, then they will remove possible negative feedback, and they will remove possible defects on items for being late. So all you have to do is click on this. Look at this first one, upload tracking, and it has to have a scan from a carrier. So that's the first thing. And let me just add, if you're watching this, if you just print your labels directly from eBay, then your tracking number is going to be automatically uploaded into the order, and you don't have to do anything. So from those, Rocky down. So for those people who are printing directly from eBay, this first step is already done, and you really don't have to worry about it. And then the next one, of course, the item has to show that it delivered. So if it never delivered, eBay is not going to remove negative feedback for an item that didn't deliver. But as long as it delivers, even after the case was opened and closed, they will have your back and remove those dings and feedback. And then second, if you can see this little graphic right here, when a buyer clicks into the tracking of the order, trying to see where the item is, this little thing pops up above that. eBay basically just telling buyers, look, everyone is experiencing high shipping volumes and it's causing delays. Not to worry. At some point your item is going to deliver, even though we can't really tell you when, but it is going to deliver. And this is crucial for those buyers who, may think that maybe it's just them. I don't know if that's anyone that thinks that at this time with all these unprecedented things happening, but it's just giving people awareness that this is, something that a lot of people are experiencing, both buyers and sellers. So those are a couple of things I want to touch on. And then this last thing here, you can see, sellers like you and I may be wondering, is this going to impact our performance and our metrics? And for those who may be top rated sellers or trying to get there, this could negatively impact your performance. eBay is saying all you have to do is one of these three things, and we will not hold late shipments against you. And I'm just going to talk about the first one. You can read about this. Oh, sorry about that. You can read about this in the article, but this first one just says if you have tracking that has been uploaded and scanned in the time that you say you're going to ship it, then you don't have to worry. eBay is going to have your back. So that's kind of eBay's response. Chris, maybe some feedback on that, or what things are you doing to reach out to buyers or to respond? How are you handling shipping delays in this time?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think it's important too to focus on what we can control in our businesses, right? Like we can't control how fast the packages get there, but we can control kind of how we respond to upset customers. So far, I've had a lot of packages that were late. I'd say at this point, more than 50% of my packages are being delivered more than 2 days beyond when they should have been, and I have a fair amount that are now beyond 7 days too. I didn't count before the show, but a fair amount. We'll leave it at that. I actually just had one. I checked right before the show. I had one that's like critically late. That's been shipping for over 2 weeks now. Actually,
Oh, wow.
getting delivered today, which is pretty cool. That was the one where I had a buyer actually reach out to me like when it was like 3 days late. So
Did you say it hit 3 weeks today or 2 weeks?
it was just over 2 weeks. I want to say it was like 15 days. It was a priority shipping, so it should have been like 2 to 3 days, right? So what I did was when that buyer reached out to me on Saturday, I responded with a really nice message, and I just basically said, "Hey, I thank you for reaching out. Thank you again for your business, and thanks for reporting what's going on with the shipping. And I know that that's probably really frustrating." So I just said, "Look, we're in unprecedented times. This is widespread. It's not just you. There's packages all across the country that are delayed significantly. I'm seeing about 20% of my packages being more than 2 days late. That was the stat at the time. It's gone up since then, but about 20% were at 2+ days late at the time." And I just went in and I copied and pasted the most recent tracking information. This is important, I think, because eBay's tracking information, first of all, doesn't have as much detail as if you look at the USPS site, right? So sometimes it's helpful to go and look at that
That's a good
USPS.com,
point. Yeah.
look at the tracking, and you'll get more information. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the eBay's tracking information is delayed. So there could have been a scan since like the last time it updated. I feel like it updates like 4 or 5 hours after like real time. So you can go at USPS and you might find out some new information that hasn't been posted on eBay. So in that message, I also said, here's the most recent up-to-date information. There was a scan 2 days ago, so the package is moving. And I just said, look, I would appreciate, I said, here are 3 things that our small business is doing to respond to this. I said, 1, we're shipping everything within 24 hours. Number 2, we're upgrading shipping speed when possible, like going from first class to priority, for example, when possible. And 3, I'm extending my quoted shipping times. So instead of having 1 day handling, which I typically do, I now have 2-day handling because what that'll do is it'll add an extra day on that estimated time too. So I'm shipping every day, but I just put 2 days on there. Sometimes I'm shipping within an hour or 2 of somebody buying something. So that's what I said. And I said, look, I'm just asking for your patience. Our business we're doing our best. I just ask that you give me patience. That buyer never responded to that message, which is great. You never want to see the response. You just want them to go away and hope that the package got delivered. And of course it got delivered today. So I think that's a happy ending. So we'll see what happens with feedback. It'd be a cool test, actually. Maybe we should revisit this next week, see if I get any kind of feedback to it, and then if I have to reach out to eBay to see if it gets removed. But I think that message said they're going to automatically remove negative feedback about shipping speed. So I don't know how that would work, but
yeah, and it's kind of confusing as to, for eBay, it could be a headache trying to figure out how to cipher through, all this stuff. But yeah, I think some great points there. I also have probably logged, several orders that are late. My oldest one is 3 weeks today. Shipped it on December 1st.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it still shows it's sitting here and it says awaiting arrival at the post office. So, I can imagine that guy. He's reached out a couple of times, not too happy. But one thing that is happening, which is strange, is it shows as sitting in my hometown, but then I noticed that several of them today and yesterday started to move. And there was no updates. It was like sitting here at the post office and then bam, it's in the guy's hometown or something. So I think, maybe to save time, some scans aren't happening, or, I know a lot of people are overwhelmed at this time, but some good pointers there on those shipping delays. Well, let's do this. We could honestly talk about this all night, but let's take some questions from some people here in the chat. We've got a couple of questions coming in. And just a reminder, if you're just now joining us, leave a question in the comment. It may get answered tonight. We're going to answer a few questions now. So Chris, let me throw this first one at you from Juan Ramirez. He says this: my question is, I found a vintage Pendleton virgin wool extra long sleeve. Comps are between 20 and 60. What do you suggest I list at?
Wow. Awesome. First of all, Juan, thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the show. Great question. Great find. I love vintage. I mean, I love Pendleton. I love Pendleton XL. I love Pendleton wool. And you add vintage on top of that too, long sleeve. That's like, that's like the perfect item, right? Big size, wool, awesome item, vintage, long sleeve, perfect. I'd say typically I'm going to go the way I run my business is I'm probably going to go on the high end of comps. And if that means I have to wait a little bit longer to get a few extra bucks, I will, particularly with an item like that, because it's not a common item. It's a vintage item. And it's something that people will seek out. So I'd probably list it, if you're seeing the comps up at the high end at 60, I'd probably list it at 59 just because I like to, tuck it under. I like to go that, that 9 pricing. So I'd probably list it at 59 plus shipping, and I would accept offers and just kind of see what came in. If something came in quick at, 45 bucks, 40 bucks, I'd probably unload it and go and be happy with my money, especially if you only paid like $5 or $6 for it. But yeah, that's a great find, Juan. Great question. List that thing high, accept offers, and let's go.
Yeah, good question. Thank you, Juan. Here's another question. Since clothing is so big on eBay, from OHJ, would you recommend people that don't know anything about clothes force themselves to learn? And I want to take this one and answer kind of how I tell people how to start on eBay. And my tip is this: you can definitely start with clothing. There are a lot of YouTube channels out there, a lot of resellers who are posting their content and showing brands. If you want to get started in clothing, it's a great way to get started. But my tip to you would be this: if you haven't really started at all, or maybe you are already selling something, I'm not really sure by the question, but I would say start with what you're passionate about. And I've said this before, but start where you like. What are your hobbies, and where do you spend your time outside of work? What are the things that you would say you're knowledgeable on? What do you have fun with? If you're into sports, I would say start with sports. Maybe you're a collector or something like that. And the reason why I say this to answer that question is this: usually where your hobbies are, you're going to have the most knowledge, and it's going to be easier for you to find stuff to resell. You're going to know whether it's a value or not, and it's going to be the least amount of risk for you because you know so much about it. If you get into something where you have no experience, it may just be something that's a little more frustrating at the beginning. So I would say start with where you're passionate. Start with what areas you're passionate in. And then once you kind of get that down, then you can move on to something else. So I wouldn't necessarily say clothing unless you feel like you have a niche of clothing that you're familiar with. For me, that was men's outdoor gear, outdoor apparel. That's where I started, but it could be something different for you. So great question, OHJ. And let's take this last question before we move on to our flippin' game. So Tricia Smith asked this: what kind of advice do you have for transitioning from part-time reseller to full-time reseller? And Chris, you're 2-3 weeks fresh on this. So I feel like you have some knowledge on how to help Trish out here.
Yeah, I feel like this is my life right now. I was full-time work, part-time reseller as of this, I guess, 2.5 weeks ago. So this is my 3rd week of full-time. So I don't know if I can give a lot of advice yet, right? Because I'm still sort of like kicking and screaming my way through that transition. But a couple of things that I know I did before I made the transition that really set me up. Number one, I had a bank account that was my business bank account, had a good amount of money in it, right? So that I felt like I could go out and I could buy items and thrift and find. So I'd say number one, like make sure that you have, some money so that you can go out and be aggressive in the market and buy stuff and flip that thing. Number two, I guess you gotta have some inventory, right? I don't think it's smart to try to jump in and be a full-time reseller and to rely on that income until you have inventory that you're moving through and you're selling. Because a lot of people think, especially clothing, they think it's like fast money. Like, hey, I can just quit my job and go make fast money. The reality is I'm looking at about 107 days per sale on average, and my median's about 74 days. So, a lot of the stuff that you're buying in month one of full-time reselling, you might not be making any income from that. You'll be spending money on those items, but you might not make any income for 3 or 4 months for those things. And some will be even longer than that. So I think having your finances straight, number one, and number two, like actually having some inventory is important. And number three is like the knowledge. I don't think, it'd be tough to, I learned so much in 2.5 years of being part-time. I don't think I could have gone full-time in my first year. I just didn't have enough knowledge. And I think just knowledge comes with the experience. Could I have done it at the 2-year mark? Maybe. I think so, probably. But I think, the knowledge for me was the most important thing. And I feel like I'm in a place right now where I have enough, where I can just find enough items on every trip. So I'd say those would be the 3 things before you make the transition. And then when you do make the transition, I'd say you got to make yourself a little bit of a schedule and find some habit and routine. Humans are creatures of habit. And I think that was really tough for me for the first 2 weeks. I just my first week, I was like, I'm just going to go like thrifting a lot and get a whole bunch of inventory. And then my office was a bomb. And it was just like, it seemed like a good idea at the time, like just get a whole bunch of stuff and then you'll feel good and you can list all that stuff. But it became inefficient. It became disorganized, and yeah, it was counterproductive. And I didn't have like a good workspace that I felt good about because it was just clothes everywhere. So I would say that would be my thing. My fourth piece of advice would be just, find yourself a routine. Don't feel like you have to find it in week 1, but be searching for that routine. I feel like I've found a little bit this week.
That's a great answer. And I want to add to that because this is something, and for Trisha who asked that question and those interested, I've been full-time for 2.5 years. I went April of 2018. And this was a question that I asked another reseller. He wasn't on eBay. He was more of a bookseller on Amazon, but it was just a general kind of counseling time when I was just asking him about his business and things. And he suggested that whenever you're at a point where you're making 25% as a side hustle, like as a hobby, when you're making 25% of your take-home full-time job pay, then that's kind of where you can start to consider. I bumped that up to 50% just because I was a little more conservative, and 25% seemed kind of low for me. And so that was kind of the guide that I was going by. Like when I get to where I'm making half of my income, my full-time job income as a side hustle, then for me, that's a good sign that it's time for me to possibly consider quitting my job and devote more time. Because if you're spending, at the time I was spending 10 hours a week. If I can make half of my income at 10 hours a week, if I can devote all of my time to it, I can definitely make more. And so, but just know that, like Chris was saying, there are going to be things where it's just different once you go full time. And, before I went full time, I didn't have to take any money out of the business. Now I need to. So it kind of puts a crutch on things, and it makes it a little more sensitive and pressurized, I guess, because you're relying on that money. So those are some things to consider. And I would just say, don't make that as an irrational move. Not that you are even that way, but just give it some thought and some time and sit with it for a while and make sure that you're experienced in what you're doing. So that's what I would say. But those are some great questions. And I just want to thank all of you viewers who are commenting in the chat and letting us see some of the things you're thinking through. I know that we didn't get to all of them tonight, and maybe if we have time at the end, we can circle back around. But we do want to move on to our game for the night, which I'm super excited to introduce. So Chris, well, I'm not introducing, but Chris, why don't you take it away and tell us about our FLIPPIN game?
I will, but first I just want to take a second for our positive comment shout out of the week. I see Barb Purvis in the chat. Barb says, "Hey guys, 2 of my favorites, Barba Jean on TikTok." Barb, thanks for your support of the TikTok channel. Thanks for being here tonight. And I appreciate you spreading some positivity here in the comment section. So thanks. There's your shout out. Let's play a flipping game. So just like last week, we have 5 questions. Jason and I are answering these questions based on the last 7 days. Actually, this week it's 6 days because we're doing an early show on Wednesday. It's Jason versus Chris, and there's one winner. I won last week, so I'll be trying to defend my title. I'll be doing my best. So let's play a flipping game. Let's lead off with question number 1. What's your biggest sale?
Biggest sale of the week. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see if I can do this. All right, can y'all see that?
I can see it.
That is not the one that I want to share. Huh. Let me just redo this. Sorry about that. Giving a little preview on one coming down the pipeline.
I'm going to have to strategize my answer.
All right, so this item, Cabela's Northern Goose Down Puffer Coat, I actually had it in a video recently. I picked it up probably 2 to 3 weeks ago for $15 at a local thrift store here, and I flipped this on a best offer with shipping for $70. So $70 total on this bad boy. That was a great flip from 15 to 70. So that's my biggest sale of this week.
That's an awesome one. Just a technical question because this one's got to be close. Is that $70 including the shipping, or was it 70 plus the 15?
That's 70 including shipping.
Okay. All right. Cool. Great flip. Love that one.
I'm guessing based on that one. Are you ready to share your screen?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and share.
All right. And we can see it.
Okay, cool. You can see it. I couldn't tell. All right. So this is an Adidas. I'm going to say this wrong. Blauvelt Jake 2.0 boot. I picked this one up. This is a retail arbitrage find. It was on clearance. I paid $42 for it. It sold for a best offer of $70 plus $11 shipping.
Ooh, you got me on the shipping.
And here's the thing. It sold literally an hour and a half before the show. So I didn't really have a good big sale, and I thought I was going to lose round 1, but I think I took it with that one. So and that's a new with tag, but new without box. I'd never found one of those before, but certainly a unique looking shoe. So I decided to look it up, and certainly the comps were really strong. I was going to counter offer that when I got the offer for 70, but I was like, well, if I accept it right now, then I might have a shot at winning.
I can enter this into this week's game.
Yeah, I didn't want to lose that one off the hook. I didn't want to counter if maybe the person wouldn't have accepted, or it would have taken them some time to counter and go back and forth. But they've already paid too, so it's on the board.
Nice. So Chris wins round 1. Good sale.
All right, what do we got? We going to round 2?
Round 2.
All right, so round 2.
Oh, sorry, I'm out there. Largest profit of the week. All right. I have to look at my notes here and see which one I'm going with. It's the one that I previewed earlier. Let me share my screen again. All right, these Pfaltzgraff, I think is how you pronounce it, Sedona salad plates out of 5. I picked up a huge set. I think it was 15 to 16 pieces total for around $10 to $20. I don't remember the all-in price, but I broke it apart. I had 4 mugs. I had 4 dinner plates, and then I had, I think, I had 8 salad plates, 3 dinner plates. So I took the 3 dinner plates and the 3 salad plates, put them together. Mugs were a separate listing, and then this one was the 3rd listing for 5 salad plates. I got a best offer of $60, including shipping, on these. So already made profit on that whole lot. And my total profit on that sale was, after fees, $34.74.
Nice one. That's sweet. And that's after shipping and fees?
That is, yeah, after shipping and fees.
Right on, right on. That's an awesome one. I love it. And I forgot to update the scoreboard. So after round 1, here's our scoreboard. Jason with the shoes, Chris with the shirts. So shirts 1, shoes 0 after round 1. So for round 2, I'll go ahead. Let me see if I got mine dialed up here. Yes, you can go ahead and share my screen.
Here we go.
Cool. So I got this Ralph Lauren. You know, I love what people always get mad at me. I say it wrong. It's hard for me to say Ralph Lauren. People like shout at me in my TikTok comments about this. Ralph Lauren, sorry. 5 extra big. You know, I love my big RLs.
That's right. 5X.
And I also like the size pink. I don't know. Do you find that the size pink sells better?
The color pink, yeah.
Color pink, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got full price for this one. I got $33 plus the $5.85 shipping, but after fees, that ended up being a profit of $25. I paid $4 for the shirt. So
wow,
I think you take round 2. You had $30-something and I had 25, right?
Yeah, $34.74. So
you beat me there. So now
Jason wins round 2.
Updated scoreboard.
I like how this one's starting off this week.
Shoes 1, shirts 1.
All right, round 3. What is round 3?
Round 3 is the fastest sale.
Fastest sale of the week. Which item sold in the least amount of time? I think I feel really good about mine. But since I've been going first, why don't you go ahead and show us what you have first?
I'll go first. You can go ahead and share.
Okay.
So I sold this polo shirt. It is a linen blends shirt. You can see the nice little horse down in there in the corner, which was kind of cool, but linen being the key here. I sold this shirt for, what did I pay? I got $18 plus 5 shipping for the shirt. I paid $5 for it. Now, I sold it in just under 48 hours from the time that I purchased it, but I sold it within 12 hours of listing it. So I don't know how we're actually measuring this one. So I'll give you both. It sold in 2 days, but it actually sold overnight. So in 12 hours of the time of listing it.
We'll go with from the time that it lists, because that's how I'm measuring as well.
Cool. So we'll put that one on the board for 12 hours.
12 hours. I think you got me on that one. So let's see here. I thought I had you, Chris. Amazing. All right. This item, I believe I had a TikTok on it. I don't remember. I get confused with YouTube and TikTok, but this was like a Harley Davidson. It had a pretty sweet graphic on the front there. But the thing that made me pick it up, because I see these shirts all the time where they have like the town or the city of, like a Harley Davidson dealership or, something like a collector's item. I don't usually pick them up, but this one had South Africa on it. And I was like, that's pretty rare that it has South Africa. So picked it up for a couple bucks and sold it within, 17 hours and 39 minutes from the time that it listed.
You got real specific on that, but that's a quick flip. That's interesting.
Well, after last week, I had to get down to the minutes and the days.
Yeah. We weren't.
Sure. I was shocked. Went for full price, $19.83 plus 5 shipping. So almost $25 on this used T-shirt. And it wasn't like the greatest condition. It didn't have any holes, but it was a 3XL. So that helped. Yeah.
I don't even know if I would have picked that up. I might have just walked right past it. Maybe 3XL. Yeah, maybe I would have looked it up or something. But I mean, I pass on Harley T-shirts all day, all night, because the market's just so flooded with those. So I'm surprised.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and kind of a shock. So
we'll update that scoreboard. Nice flip. I beat you by a few hours. So shirts 2, shoes 1. So on to round 4. We got a tight battle. Round 4 is my favorite. Slowest sale. And don't underestimate these slow sales. Slow sales are great too, because I love them, because it's like we're getting rid of that inventory that's been sitting around forever. So this might
Isn't it such a good feeling when that item sells that you've had for so long?
Get it gone. See ya.
All right. Well, why don't you show us your slowest sale this week?
So this is from, you can go ahead and share my screen. I got it dialed up. So this sale, I picked this up. This is from the same garage sale from the sale from last week. So it was August the 31st, 2019 that I picked this up at a garage sale. It was an Amazon reseller that was liquidating all his business. And I bought a ton of stuff from him. I bought 4 youth ski helmets, and I thought I paid $5 a piece for them. I felt like they'd be pretty good sellers. Well, this is the first one of those 4 to sell.
Wow.
So technically, we're at 476 days that this thing took to sell, and I still have 3 more. So we could see this appear in the game multiple times moving forward.
And they resurrect into weeks away.
It could be in like 2022 versions of this game, okay?
We'll remember this moment, and we'll shout out this moment at some point when those sell.
I got $18 plus 5. No, what did I get for this thing? I got $18 plus 10 shipping on this. I paid $5 for it. Not huge profit, but it's also kind of like a bulky item. Like it was new in box to kind of have an inventory too. So not the type of item I really want to sit on for 476 days.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Let me show you. Yeah, I'm surprised by that because that's a great brand, and
the kids. It's not only was it kids, but it was a kids small, extra small. So like small sizes really suck for men's clothing. Like in kids clothing, just generally sucks.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about a small of kids. I think that's really what killed it.
And that was a ski helmet, right?
Yeah, ski or snowboard, I guess. But
yeah. What I've noticed is that like ski gear like that, just because of COVID, the mountains shut down, people weren't skiing, they weren't going on trips, and so obviously no one's going to buy a helmet in the middle of summer. So that's probably why it sat for a while. But yeah, people are gearing up for ski vacations. Things are starting to sell. So let me show you mine now. This one, the oldest item I've had from this week, this Columbia sweater. This isn't an item that I would pick up nowadays. This was from December 13th of 2018. So 2 years ago. I got 736 days on this item.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And so when I have something like this, because we get a lot of questions on what do you do with old items? When I have something like this, it's clearly old. I clearly don't pick it up anymore. I just really, if an offer comes along that's somewhat decent, I just take it. And they offered, I think it was $12 plus the 8 shipping. So I got $20, which I was kind of shocked to get that much for this Columbia sweater. Just a plain sweater. I think it had the Columbia logo on the sleeve there at the bottom. But yeah, I if I've got it listed at 18, I probably would have taken an offer as low as $8 or $9 on this just to get it moving plus shipping. So yeah, over 2 years, that was a great flip, and finally glad that one is gone.
Yeah, I'm happy you got rid of that one too. Right on. And I know we've talked about Columbia before. I really, I don't do a lot of Columbia, and that's the reason right there. The market's flooded with that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing unique about it. Like maybe if it was wool, I don't even know if like Columbia has anything that's wool, frankly.
Yeah, I've never found anything, but that would definitely be something to look for.
So updated, and I can't believe that I had a 476-day sale, and you like almost doubled that in terms of time. If I lost that one, I didn't think it was going to be by much, but there you go.
Yeah.
Updated scoreboard, shoes too.
Here we go. Sure. This is where we need audience participation, because you are going to decide this last one, which is coolest find of the week or the best pick.
And this is up to you. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be the most expensive flip. If you're one of the viewers and you're going to vote on this thing, it doesn't have to be the most expensive or the most profitable. It could just be the one that you're like, that's the coolest find, or you could just really like that item. And there you go. So
totally subjective.
Who's going first for this one?
Why don't you go for it?
All right. I still got this one wrapped up.
So we're potential coolest pick candidate right here.
For a little drama,
oh, wow.
Picked it up today. Oh, you can hear it. From the thrift store. I believe that's San Francisco in the city in there. So Snow Globe, obviously. I'm not going to turn it because it'll make a lot of noise, but this bottom part where the train, see how that turns? That's how you wind this thing.
Really? Wow.
The brand is, I don't know if you've ever found this or anyone's heard of this, 3J's Imports. JJJ, that's how I looked it up. 3J's Imports. It was $6. I think you can see that. $6 at the thrift.
Yeah.
So it's a music box. It's a snow globe. And it's in like perfect condition. It's flawless. This thing's awesome. The comps, looking at like between $40 and $50 for some of these. And I think I might even be able to get higher because it's it's this really cool city. I think it's San Francisco there. Yeah. I guess that's the
I can't tell. Oh yeah. There's the Golden Gate Bridge. Yeah, you're right.
And the trolleys, and I forget what that tall building is right there. That kind of triangular one. Anyway, this thing is beautiful. I mean, this is one of those things, like, I don't know anything about snow globes, but sometimes you just see something in a thrift store and you just got to look it up, and I just wanted to look at it because I thought it was so cool. I kind of like snow globes, frankly. And super cool item. I'm psyched about it. This is one of those items you're like, should I sell this thing? And then it always comes back down to absolutely. If it ain't bolted to the floor, it's going on eBay. So a really cool piece.
Yeah. That's a great find. I've been watching other resellers and I've seen some post on snow globes. I think American Arbitrage has posted some, and I've started looking in that section more. I just have not come across hardly any at all that are worth looking at. But that's an amazing snow globe find right there.
So yeah, look out for that brand, 3J's Imports. That's a total bolo. I mean, it looked like, they had all different kinds of snow globes when I was looking at comps, and all the comps are strong. I don't think there was anything less than $25, but certainly some that were a lot higher.
Nice. I like it. Well, mine is actually hanging behind me for you all to see, and I'm going to go grab it. So you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you the graphic before I show you the brand, but take a look at that.
Yes.
This is a vintage Tommy Bahama, and it's 100% linen Hawaiian shirt. The back is just the same. It's got the Hawaiian girls with the guitars or the ukuleles, I guess. This shirt, I'll say when I picked it up, I was literally thinking, all right, I've sold some vintage Tommy Hawaiian shirts in the past. I know linen's great. I should get $35 to $40. So for $4, this was a no-brainer. Definitely picked it up. Got home and I found a sold comp for that same shirt, just a different color. So it was like instead of brown and green, it may have been like a coral or something. Same color or different color, different size, but it was linen for $98 and $5 shipping, $103. So
dang.
I couldn't believe it. Definitely going to list that there and see if I can get a buyer. May take a while now that we're in winter, but hopefully as things warm up, someone will come along that sees the value in that and pay $100 for it.
That's sick. I was thinking that maybe you'd get like something like $60 for it because it's just such a unique piece. That's kind of the number that I had in mind. But yeah, $100. Shoot, even if you got an offer for 60 something.
Oh yeah, I definitely consider and probably take.
That thing's awesome. What size was it?
So it was a large. So
if it was a medium, I might have to go make an offer on that puppy.
Well, I'll just say, you can still make an offer, and see if it gets accepted. It can be like a Christmas gift, a late Christmas gift.
Well, that's a sick find for sure. So we got Snow Globe versus vintage Tommy Bahama silk ridiculous shirts. So this is going to be important because it is tied 2-2, and this is question number 5. So this is going to be the tiebreaker to determine if I'm going to defend my title or if Jason is going to take over the throne, so to speak. So what we're going to need you to vote here in the comment section. So go ahead and throw in the comments a J if you thought Jason's pick was the coolest pick of this week, or put in a C if you like the snow globe, if Chris's pick is the pick of the week. So you, the viewers, are going to be the ones who determine the winner of today's game.
So now we'll just wait until the results come in. Yes, please let us know who has the coolest pick. Both pretty rad items, but what do you think? You can only vote on one.
Here's this can be our music.
All right, there's a vote in from Trisha. She says her husband loves Hawaiian shirts. Those of you that are watching, please vote. Cast your vote, J or C, Jason or Chris, on who you think has the coolest item. We'll give it a little more time before we close it off, but we want to see and give you a chance to cast your vote for the winner of the Flippin game. There's a vote for Deb, for Chris. That's 1-1 right now.
Count on you.
Cody says Jay, 2-1.
I know I got some Snow Globe fans out there.
Cast your vote. Time is dwindling. We'll give it about 30 more seconds.
So J, if you think Jason's Tommy Bahama was the best find of the week. A C, if you think that Snow Globe, that San Francisco Snow Globe / music box is the flip of the week.
So right now we have 3 votes for Chris. Is that right? Yep, and 2 votes for me.
This is the tiebreaker. This is for the game.
You all are deciding who wins the flipping game tonight. I think we've got to call it right there. Chris, I think you took it.
Yes.
You got 5 votes. Chris is the winner and defends his title.
Dang. Well, thank you. That's awesome. Thanks for your votes, Danielle, Deb, the grumpy thrifters. You can't be grumpy about a snow globe and a music box like that. That is a cool find. I thought for sure that I was going to dominate number 5. That was the only one that I was like, I'm going to win question number 5. I wasn't sure about any of the other ones. I thought I would have the longest flip or the slowest flip too, but you got me on that one. So, but boy, that Tommy Bahama vintage piece, that was something. That's by far the coolest Tommy Bahama, really probably the coolest like vintage shirt that I've seen. That thing, like vintage vibes for days. It's dude, get out of here.
And I'm just glad that we were tied going to that last question. It could have been anyone's game at that point. So congratulations on a great win.
I'm going to go ahead and update the scoreboard just for fun. Look at that artwork, by the way, too.
3-2, which is the same score from last week. 3 shirts to 2 shoes.
Shirts always win.
Not when it comes to reselling.
It's true. Well, shoes usually give you a better profit.
Yeah, a better return. All right, well, we've got a couple more minutes before we end the show tonight. Just want to thank you all for watching. We're going to go ahead and do a question of the night. So we're going to ask you a question, and you can answer in the comments based on how you'd answer it. So, and we'll talk about what we do as well. So here's the question of the night. How many days a week do you normally source or go to thrift stores or garage sales or whatever you do? How many times a week do you normally go out? So put that in the comments and let us know. Be interested to see what our viewers out there, how they source or when they source. But what about you, Chris? Like, what does a typical work? Well, now, I mean, I know it's different now because you're full-time, but what does a typical week look like in the 2 or 3 weeks that you've been sourcing?
Sure. I mean, when I was part-time, I'd go twice a week, and there were lunch break thrifts, basically. You know, I would, in between meetings, I'd go and I'd jam for an hour or an hour and a half twice a week. And that was that. Now it's sort of evolved into sourcing. Actually, it's still been 2 days a week, but my plan is to move forward with a typical week with being 3 days. So Monday, Wednesday, and then go out for like garage sales, probably either Friday morning or Saturday morning. So I think the new plan is going to be 3 days of sourcing. And then if I have a ton of inventory and I'm backed up like now, then I'll just back it down to 2 days.
Nice. Daniel agrees with you, says twice a week. You know, I used to go out more when I was in Colorado. I'd go out probably the same 2 to 3 times a week. now that I'm in Arkansas and most of the thrift stores are a little further away, I go out once a week. I usually go on a Monday and try and get the fresh inventory after the weekend. Loss of words, but after everything goes away on the weekend. And people, usually Goodwills will run like half offs on Saturday or Sunday. So a lot of it gets diminished. And then on Monday, they restock with new inventory. So that's usually when I go. But I'm kicking around the idea of on Mondays, rather than going for volume, trying to just get better items, leave behind some of those smaller items, and maybe go out locally around like my house here within the 10-mile radius or so, on like a Wednesday, Thursday or so. So getting less on Monday so that I have time later on to go out again a second day of the week. But typically right now it's just been one a week, and I usually get enough to list for the rest of the week. We've got some comments coming in. Trisha says, I work full time. Husband does the sourcing most days. He's addicted, but I had 2 weeks of vacation recently where I went on full-blown sourcing spree. That sounds like a lot of fun. Deb 2 times a week. Monica go every other day, but the weekends I usually go all day Saturday or Sunday. So yeah, Monica, I can relate with that because when I was working part-time with eBay, had a full-time job, I sourced on the weekends, usually on a Saturday, and then I would source a couple days a week on after work. But I get the whole weekend thing. So yeah, thanks so much for answering, guys. Appreciate your responses on the question of the night.
Right on. I especially love to hear those folks who are like hustling, like with a job too, and just like, trying to fit it in. I mean, that was me for 2.5 years. So, I love thinking about those. Like I used to sneak out Friday mornings before I had like a 10:30 a.m. meeting every Friday with my team. And I'd try to like sneak out and get some garage sales, because garage sales kick off at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'd go like hit 1, 2. And then sometimes I'd be taking that meeting, like I'd be joining like on the phone, like on the road, like heading back to the house after a whole bunch of stuff. And then Saturday was obviously, Saturday morning I'm out 8 o'clock and, like 8 to noon or 8 to whenever I ran out of gas. And then I just have all kinds of stuff that I'd list as the week went on. I just find some time here and there to put stuff on. So I love hearing from all those, from the hustlers who are still, doing it with the job too. It's awesome.
Yep. I agree. Well, Chris, that brings us to the end of this show, our second episode of Two Flippin' Dudes.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This is great. And I'm just feeling good about 2 straight wins. I didn't know that I had a win in me today. I was projecting confidence, but I wasn't really confident. So just grateful that I was able to pull that one out. But you had some cool stuff. I'm not going to forget that Tommy Bahama flip. Check in with you. I don't think that thing's going to last a week on your eBay store. That thing is sweet. Although you might have to, if you're going to hold out for your price, you might have to take some higher price.
I'm going to get some lowball offers right away and have to counter, but that obviously will help the possible sale to another buyer. So for those of you that are watching, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching later recorded, Chris and I are going to be going live to Flippin' Dudes next week on Wednesday night instead of Thursday, just because of New Year's Eve. So make sure to set your calendars, your notifications, whatever you do to remind yourself. We will be on December 30th, Wednesday next week, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, same time as tonight. And then after that, we'll probably resume back to Thursdays, but next week will be Wednesday. We had a lot of fun with you all tonight, and thank you for watching. Yes, let's do that as well. Chris at Peak, you can follow him on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're looking for my channel as well, The Real Jason Hayes on Instagram and jason.m.hayes on TikTok as well. That's where you can find us. Let us know that you're following if you're not already.
Well, Jason, spending some time to catch up and to, it was fun. It was cool seeing some of your stuff. And hey, we're moving into Christmas now. So Christmas Eve tomorrow. So wishing you and Angela and your family a wonderful holiday. Hope you guys have some downtime, kick up your feet, have some good food, and some fellowship, both in person maybe and some virtual fellowship too.
Yep. Same for you and Kim and your family as well. Christmas and refreshing. So all right. Well, all we have for tonight and this week. Peace out, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Merry Christmas.
Next broadcast.